Mm. There we go, legends. Welcome to another live stream. Remember to smash the like on your way in. What is happening here with the price of Bitcoin? And I took along, right? And I will explain why I took along. It's also a trade that we discussed inside of the Legends Pro community this morning, currently in a long over here. Right, legends, I'm just fooling around, okay? And I will explain the scenario and why I attempted a small little long over here, okay? I did not have my damn Bluffin exchange and my Weeks exchange open, and it was going to take too long to do the two-factor authentication. These moves happened so quickly. Luckily, I had my Bybit account open, and I just took that sniper trade over there on Bybit. Also, links down in the description for Bluffin and Weeks, right? Where you only need an email and a password to sign up. Also, Bluffin has that 200k competition. Link is also there. They're in the description to qualify for that competition. Right, legends, currently in a small little long over here, and I have just nibbled at some profits. Okay, well, not nibbled. I took like 50% profits already, okay? Knowing that there's a high probability, well, let me not use the word high, okay? As per the thumbnail, I just did say, ooh, what if the bull market is over? Right? Is the bull market over and how deep can we go? And I will go through that bearish case scenario in this live stream. So stay tuned. Do not miss out on any alpha so that we as a community, okay, are prepared for the worst. Right, legends, I have already taken a little bit of, 50% profits here by the highs. Okay, nice little scalp trade here to the upside, high leverage position. Okay, had a relatively tight stop loss, and this could happen, right? This could definitely happen. And I mean, we could potentially even go to this pivot over here. Okay, we could potentially even go to this pivot over here with this little move here to the upside. So far, it looks promising because it really looked like it was building up momentum here to the downside. And I think what was a little bit scary, okay, before we had the bounce here to the upside, as I was preparing the thumbnail, I was just like, ooh, what if this is a 1-2, 1-2, and we are building an impulsive third wave here to the downside, and we're going to go 4-5, 4-5, and then only are we going to correct, or perhaps see a little bit of a bounce, right? There by the $89,000 area, that 0.382 that I've spoken about yesterday in my live stream. And then we got the bounce. Okay, and I have this fib extension here for a very good reason. And for those that's been following me for a while, you know exactly why I longed over here. Okay, why did I long over here? Inside of this box, when we tapped this box, I was like, game on, brother, game on. Okay, got acceptance back above the low, right? That's what you want to see. And now we have claimed this high over here. The fact that we've claimed that high tells me that any impulse momentum that wanted to shoot here to the downside has now been invalidated. Okay, for now, but what I would like to see, okay, to get that extra confirmation, we need to take this high. I want to see us take this high over here because that could still be building a bigger wave back to the downside as long as we don't claim this high over here. So we really need to claim this high at $95,000, 390. Legends, smash up the like. On your way in, if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe for future notifications. This is where we educate. This is where I share the alpha from a technical perspective. We do Elliot wave scenarios. We do trend line breakouts. We do harmonics. We do volume. We do a bunch of other things as well, right? Basically just looking at all the possible scenarios from a technical perspective here on the price of Bitcoin. Like smashed. Everest, welcome to the live stream. Promise and them, hey Dewald, welcome. Timo, hello, all from Finland, wow. Yes, hello from Portugal. Yes, people from all over the world. Thanks for joining the live stream. Was that long music? Yes, this is my long song, right? Nice and cheerful. Right, my long music. I need to get a very sad song. Maybe, you know, I'll ask Celine Dion to record me a very sad song for when we are falling here to the downside so we can all cry together, you know, especially for our spot bags. Right, afternoon, sir. Rave, wat 'n gemors. Afternoon, sir. From Portugal, hi Scorn, welcome to the live stream. Junior, hi Dewald and Legends, have a great trading day. And don't forget to put in your SLs and take profits. Yes, okay. One might argue, okay, you sniper a little trade over here, you sniper a nice little trade over here. I did not enter there, right? I was a little bit late because I tried to sign into my Bluffin and Weeks exchanges and I was just like, stuff it. As soon as we claimed this low, I entered. Let me check, where did I enter? My entry is at 92,346. 92,346. Right over here is where my entry is. Right over there is my entry. So ever so slightly below the low over here. But I mean, still a good entry. I wanted to SFP this damn level over here. Right? I was just not fast enough. I've already taken 50% of my profits over here. And I'm leaving the rest open to potentially come and claim this high. And dare I say, potentially even this high over here. Okay, but I will be taking profits on the way up. My position is already protected, so if I get stopped out, I at least have 50% profits in the bag. If we continue momentum here to the upside, I make more profits. That is what trading is about. Okay, cool, Legends. Now, okay, it's most probably more than 33% here to the upside at the moment. What am I standing now? 40% at the moment. So trade is doing well. And I did speak about this trade inside of our Legends Pro community. So this morning, okay, in our Legends Pro community, we spoke about this scenario. We spoke about the SFP, right? And we were prepared for it. But we did enter, okay? Not me. I told the Legends, I'm not going to enter this trade. I do see the potential for a bounce, but you have to be aggressive with profit taking. Why do you have to be aggressive with profit taking? Well, is because when you take a fib from this little pivot to the high, we tapped the 0.88. Do you see? 0.88 and we tapped the 0.88 over there and we got the reaction, and I told the Legends it's definitely a valid trade. What I don't like about the trade is because you tap the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of taking the low. But this can be an A, B, C to the upside, where the B wave taps the 0.88. But we also have to be prepared for a B flat. And this is a B flat box. This is why I have this fib over here. Because if this is an A, B flat to the downside, and we are now forming impulses back to the upside to create an A, B, C, okay? And now that we have a flat, there's a great potential to come and claim the high, because a flat is you claim the low, you claim the high in a flat, right? So it has potential, and that's why I'm leaving some of the position open. Is this to me, I told the Legends Pro community, and for the pro members that are here, Mr. Crypto Big Brains, you know, if you were in the live stream this morning or you watched the recording, you know that I said I like this trading setup better, okay, because it could be forming an A, B, C here to the upside. I must be honest, a very ugly B wave, but nothing is ever perfect in trading, okay? You want to see a 3-wave structure in a B wave. A 1, 2, 3, and this is why I thought, okay, maybe the B wave is finished over here, and some of the Legends did attempt this long. They sniped at the 0.88 over here, but I did stress, guys, please just take profits on the way up, because yes, we do have our TP areas here at the highs, but you might not get there, okay? It might roll over and go and claim the low because of this bad boy over here, and the probability played out. Right, I was there this morning, Dewald. I'm in the long, right? Okay, and if you, okay, and you know, as the Legends Pro community, and I know them all so well, I can, you know, if anyone took that trade this morning in the Legends Pro community, I can almost guarantee you it worked out as follow. You enter, you have your stop loss below the low, and as soon as you start moving into profits, you protect your position so that it's a free trade. So if you were one of the traders that did not take profits to the upside, at least you would have been stopped out with no loss. Then you have you know, no loss, and you look for the next trading opportunity. What was the next trading opportunity? Legends, an SFP from the low. If this is an ABC flat, we know where the ABC flat target is. It's between the 1.236 and the 1.236 and the 1.382. Okay. And we literally tapped it and we started building up strength here to the upside. And when we got acceptance here back above this low, I knew it was game on. But I would have SFP'd this one because the stop loss is so goddamn tight. Right. We also had insane bullish CVD against these two pivots. Right. If you look at the structure over here on the 5-minute time frame, you can see that we had nice, insane bullish CVD on all exchanges, okay, between those two pivots. Bullish CVD confirming that you're going to come and claim the high. But then when we tapped the 0.88 over here, I said, right, based on the bullish CVD, if you claim the low, you increase the probabilities for a successful swing failure pattern. And that is exactly what's playing out here at the moment. Right, legends. So now you're all asking, well, what is the next trading setup? Where can we go to next? Okay. I do like the fact, let me just take the scribble here out the way. And that long position. And just to wrap this up, and now I know some of the legends entered this position over here because we spoke about it this morning. You have your stop below the low. You entered here by getting acceptance back above the low. And now that you're moving into profits, you really want to protect your position so that you have a free ride here to the upside. And if you are aggressive with profit taking like me, okay, that is your first TP area. Second TP area, third TP area, okay, depending on how aggressive you are with profit taking. But this move here to the upside does have the potential to go higher. Okay, now this is the next trading opportunity that's actually playing out here at the moment. It's playing out in front of our eyes, is the break of the trend. So let me clean up the chart over here. Okay, so from a simplicity perspective, if you have no idea what I just spoke about, Dewald, what is a swing failure? What is a B wave target? I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Mr. Pac-Man, welcome in the house. And Crypto Big Brains and the mods here in the stream, I always appreciate the support. Ayush, a lot of liquidity at 96k. Yes, a lot of liquidity lies here above 96k, above this little pivot over here. But what's interesting for me now, this is potentially a trade playing out. And the reason a lot of people don't take this trade is because the stop loss is so far away. Because you're supposed to put your stop loss over there, right? And the risk to reward potentially doesn't make sense anymore. And that's the power of knowing swing failure patterns, okay? So if you're targeting the high, you're entering over here, you ideally want to see a 15-minute candle close above. Your stop loss is here below the low. You're looking at a risk to reward of 1.75. And now the conundrum is, okay, you might turn over here or you might turn over here. Price might break out successfully. It finds weakness above this level and it starts rolling back down. So you have such a small risk to reward. So you might be targeting your final TP here at this pivot over here. Okay, you might be targeting this pivot, but it might roll over before it gets there. Hopefully you did take some profits. Okay, maybe you start protecting your position as price moves up. You start de-risking yourself. But the risk to reward for me is not great. And that is the power of combining the D-line strategy, okay, with a swing failure pattern. Because you can anticipate the breakout by playing the swing failure pattern, which now means is if you played the swing failure, you now have this. A free trade. You now have a free trade to the upside. And you can now decide as a trader, do I want to add a little bit to my position over here? If I see what I like, if I see, you can be patient. You don't have to bite your nails or anything because you have such a nice, lovely entry here to the downside. You can now say, okay, I'm going to patiently sit on my hands and look for the structure and see how it plays out. I want to see, okay, a 15-minute candle close above. I want to see a beautiful retest. Maybe there's some bullish CVD on the smaller time frames between some of these pivots. And then maybe I'm going to add a little bit to my position, which might drag your entry a little bit up, okay, but you still have a phenomenal stop loss. Okay, right, so just a little bit of education over there, legends. Smash up the like on your way in, right? This is where we educate. This is where I teach you how to trade like a pro, right? Hi Dewald, it's snowing here in Texas. Wow, snow, and I'm overheating here. I've got the fan on, I've got my bottle of ice water. So quite a contrast, right? Snowing in one part of the world, overheating on the other side of the world. And that's just how life is, right? It's about contrast. Are you taking the D-line break, Alex? No, because I'm already in the trade. Okay, I'm already in the trade. If I had to take the D-line strategy breakout over here, I would be very aggressive with profit taking. So the one thing that you can do, okay, is if this is the end of the impulse, let's speculate. If this is the end of the impulse over here, so however you want to count the structure, because it is a little bit of a confusing structure here to the downside, but let's say this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So let's say this is the end of the structure, and this is corrective, okay? And this is now an A, B, which did, okay, reject or find support inside of the B flat target. So it is nice that it has found support over there. So it does start to smell and look like an ABC flat. We can go and work out where potentially the C wave can end, okay, and see if it aligns with other areas of confluence. So what I then like to do is take a trend-based fib from the low to the high of A to the low of B. We reverse it so we can see the levels to the upside. And now you have your targets. The 1-to-1 extension is a C wave target, okay, but because this is a flat, the B took the low, it has an increased probability that the C is going to take the high. And guess what? The 1.236 in confluence with that high, okay, is at the high. So that's definitely a profit-taking area. So if you're playing the breakout over here, okay, you can be defensive. You're supposed to put your stop loss below the low. That is how the strategy works. You enter here by the breakout, but I do see that some traders tighten up their stop losses. But you have to remember, if you tighten up your stop loss, you do increase the risk of yourself being stopped out and price still playing out what you wanted it to do in the first place. Because often what happens is price pumps, it comes back for a retest, it grinds against the trend, it builds a 1, 2, 3 year to the upside, it stops you out, and then it shoots back up to the upside. Okay. Right, Robert, when do you think crypto market will turn green? Can you check TEMA? It's holding on well during this red time, plus KuCoin listing coming up soon. I'm not sure, guys. Is this Robert person not a scammer? Robert, no offense to you, but I have seen people flag you before here in my live stream as a scammer. What is this TEMA project? Is this not a scam project? Well, I'm not saying it's a scam project, but you're using the channel to do marketing. I'm not sure. I remember Mr. Robert the last time that got banned, but anyways, I will check out some altcoins in a moment. Okay, I will check out some altcoins in a moment. For now, I'm focusing here on the Bitcoin technical analysis, teaching the community how to trade like pros. So I appreciate the super chat, but please, guys, yeah, just be careful of scammers here. And often what scammers do, and Robert, I'm not calling you a scammer, I'm just saying often what scammers like to do is they will go into live streams of other people and they will post super chats for the technical analyst like myself to go and analyze the project and to get people to buy into it. Right, so can you have a look at GLM in 2021 dumping on? Okay, Jeff, TEMA, I don't know about TEMA, but if it is annoying how aggressive asked on all channels. Is asked on all channels. Okay, so it's asked on all channels. It's all a scam. It's all a scam. Okay, thanks for the confirmation, SGS. Dewald, good morning. Satoshi, welcome to the live stream. Right, legends. So yeah, let's just continue with the technical analysis over here. So I do like the 1.236 over here because it's in confluence with a high and it's also a C wave target. But in a C wave, you really want to see a 5-wave structure to the upside, okay? You really want to see a 5-wave structure to the upside. So if you are attempting the breakout trade over here, just be aggressive with profit taking, okay? Just remember, if you do tighten up your stop loss, you do increase the probabilities of yourself being stopped out, but it is showing some signs of strength, okay? I do like that it's starting to break market structure. We have now claimed this high, okay? Local market structure is now starting to break over here. Next target is this high. That would be beautiful, because now you're breaking two highs over here, okay? So if you come back down for retest, what you want to do is you want to find support here above the highs, make a higher low, and then continue momentum here to the upside. Next target for a C wave is the 1.236. And then the extended C wave target here to the upside is the 1.618, okay? And this is also in confluence with what the legends highlighted here. This is also in confluence with what the legends highlighted here in terms of where the liquidity is lying at the moment. There's a lot of liquidity lying here at the moment above this high. So I wouldn't be surprised if the C wave comes all the way here to the 1.618. Okay, so this trade potentially still has some steam here to the upside. I am eyeing this level, okay, but based on the FIP pool over here, you know, that's where you want to close your position and get out. If price gets to this pivot, okay, I will close my position. I'm going to close my position. I'm not going to wait for this pivot over here. This pivot does have nice confluence. It has incredible confluence, but I'm not going to risk waiting. Okay, let the greed monster kick in. I want to squeeze the milk out of my trade, and it grinds up and the greed kicks in. You have a little retracement and you're like, no, it's going to bounce, it's going to bounce, it's going to bounce, and then it stopped. No more profits. Okay, no more profits, because you were waiting. You were waiting for this level over here. The greed got the better of you. You didn't take profits. And so this is definitely a zone where I will close my position. Next TP area for me is the 1.236. So I've already taken profits here by the high. Next TP for me is at $95,277, and I will close my position at $96,364. That's where I'm planning to close my position. Tima is a meme coin on Sol. He's definitely shilling. Okay, well, let's do this. Right, legends, let's do this. Well, I can just ask Pac-Man or Crypto Big Brains just to delete that super chat for me, please. Thank you so much. Cool, legends. That is basically what I am looking at over here on the price of Bitcoin. Okay. And from a trading perspective. Okay, message deleted by Crypto Big Brains. Well, so nice to have Mochi on the live stream, right? So that I don't have to manage all the scammers over here. But that Robert guy just looked familiar, and he was talking about the same project, and then he's talking about the listing on KuCoin. I don't like that. Mr. Robert, if you are in the live stream and that was not a scam, please, you know, send me a mail or write a comment in here, and, you know, I will apologize profusely if it's not a scam. But the fact that you're not responding is a bit concerning for me. Okay, cool, legends. Right. Also, I just want to take a FIP here from this low and see if we have some areas of confluence. Legends, I don't know, right? I mean, the market is here to surprise us. The one thing I wanted to highlight before I go through some of these scenarios is that on the 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour time frame, it really just looks like a straight line, almost a straight line here to the downside. I think the confusing thing about this impulse here to the downside, okay, is that it's so straight to the downside, and it does happen. Often the market catches me out as well, because you're looking for waves. So you can count the impulses properly. You can look at the structures inside of the impulses. And, you know, I really wanted to see the waves form to the downside, and I didn't get the waves. And it does happen that you get these sharp C waves to the downside that doesn't really give you that proper wave analysis that you want to look at, but it's still a valid impulse to the downside, because when you go onto the 1 minute and 3 minute time frames and you start counting the micro waves, it actually makes sense. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count the corrective structures inside. So, you know, still definitely a valid C wave here to the downside, right? I don't think and I mean we have to talk about the bearish case scenario as per the thumbnail. Is the bull market over for now? I have to talk about that scenario. Okay, is the bull market over for now? Because usually, legends, you know, I like to talk about when you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside, whether the impulse is to the upside or to the downside. If it's to the upside, you get a three-wave corrective structure, A, B, C, and you continue in that direction. If 5 waves is to the downside, you get a B, which happened now, we got the flat, and the C to the upside. So it claims the high, it claims the low over, or the high over there, and it claims the low over there. So this is now the C wave we are finding ourselves in at the moment. But we do have 5 waves to the downside. So the concerning thing is, are you going to have a 3-wave corrective structure and continue to the downside? That is now the concern here at the moment. What we are hoping for is that we potentially get a 3-wave corrective structure over here. So you have a 1, 2, 3 done, right? You start finding that choppiness and price starts reversing and we go back to claim the all-time highs. This was the scenario that I discussed yesterday. But today I want to discuss the little bit a bearish scenario. Okay, I just want to park the bullish scenarios for now, and I'm not saying I'm a bear. All I'm saying is I want us as a community to be prepared for the worst case scenario that could potentially play out over here. And maybe then I'll end it off by just briefly highlighting the bullish case scenarios again, so that people don't feel like doom and gloom is all that's around the corner and 2025 is going to be the worst trading year of their lives, right? Okay, so legends, there's a possibility that we have a 5-wave structure here to the downside. We now make a, well, here to the downside, we make that 3-wave ABC and we continue 5 waves back to the downside. ABC, and you continue 5 waves back to the downside to form that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's definitely a possibility. Right. So let me zoom into the 12-hour time frame, and I just quickly want to go through this scenario. So, okay, there's a range low, and I'll talk about that range low in a moment. But what I want to discuss now is this scenario over here. Okay, for now, I just want to stress that this scenario for me carries lower probability. But it can play out. Although something carries lower probability, there's still a probability of it playing out. So let's just be prepared as a community, is to say that, well, what if the impulse here to the upside is done in a 5-wave structure? And this, what's happening over here, is part of a much bigger corrective structure to the downside. Okay, where this is an A, B, and this C wave is just going to tank here to the downside. Right, even hitting $60,000. That is for now the worst case scenario that I see over here, because I just have to highlight what makes it probable and what makes it not so probable. Okay, you can see that you have 3 peaks over here. Okay, 3 peaks over here, and usually when an impulse has these 3 peaks when they start with, which is basically the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, you have your 3 peaks at the start. You have your 3 peaks at the end. So for some reason, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, done. Right? And there's a possibility that what if the impulse is done at $108,000? Okay, we've reached the end, and this is going to be part of a larger corrective structure. The level that we should not lose, if we lose this level, this scenario gains drastically in probabilities. So for now, this scenario has lower probabilities. But if we lose this level, okay, this scenario gains massively in probabilities. I often speak about the range high and the range low strategy. Okay, so after a pump with nice volume to the upside, that first low that you make and you start chopping back to the upside is what we refer to as the range low. That is the last line in the sand for the bulls to defend, to keep the structure bullish. And there's actually a trading strategy that we often speak about in our Legends Pro community as well, which we refer to as the range low or the range high, depending on whether we're shorting or longing to the upside. So if price comes down and it sweeps up all the liquidity, okay, and that 0.382 that we were eyeing over here, which I still think is okay, I'll get to the bullish case scenario, it loses this area over here. It just, boom, you get the bounce and it loses it. And it comes here to around about the 50% FIB level. It dips below and needs to find support. You ideally want to see a wick on the 4-hour, 1-hour time frame. You want to see a wick left behind. You don't want to see body closes below this level over here, because the range strategy works as follow. And I'm just going to explain the rules, because this is the rules of the strategy, right? It's not perfect, but it plays out more often than not, 7 out of 10 times. If price taps that level, it's allowed to go down below. It's allowed to dip below, okay? But it needs to be bought up super quick. You know, you want to see the wick left behind, and it needs to get acceptance back above very fast. Okay, so you want to see that wick left behind, and it's fine if it has 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, maybe even a 15-minute candle close above, but you don't want to see 1 hour, 4 hour and up candle closes below, right? You want to see a wick left behind. Then the rule of the strategy says that is a great long opportunity. You put your stop loss below the low, and then as price moves up, okay, what I like to do is protect my position immediately when price starts moving up, because the rule for the strategy states that price is not allowed to tap that level again. If price comes back down and it taps the level again, you increase the probabilities of filling the inefficiency. Okay, and that is why as soon as I start moving into profits, I protect my position and I don't mind getting stopped out, because even if it bounces and it does this, and you know, people are going to FOMO back into the trade, I know from backtesting this strategy that it's going to do this. It's going to fill the inefficiency. Okay, so the rule for the strategy is it can tap, it can literally just tap the level, or it can dip down below. It needs to be bought up very quickly, and as soon as the price moves back above this level, it needs to stay above the level. And as long as price can stay above the level, the profit-taking area for the strategy is the high. That's the profit-taking area for the strategy, for the range low and the range high strategy. If you see what you want to see over here, price dips below, gets acceptance back above, you enter with your stop loss below the low, price moves in your favor, you protect your position, okay? And then you know, okay, you have a high chance of claiming the high and even going beyond. Right. I do like that the range low over here has confluence with a 50% FIB level. So this is the last line in the sand for the bulls. That level, if we lose this level, and this is now the next set of rules about the strategy, if you close high time frame candles below this line, 1 hour, 4 hour candles below this line, and there's actually a couple of examples of the range low strategy that we traded not so long ago, okay? If you close high time frame candles below this line, you increase the probabilities of filling the inefficiency. If you get acceptance back above and it taps the level again, you increase the probabilities of filling the inefficiency. Okay, so this will give us a clue whether, okay, the bull market is over for now. Just for now, right? I'm not saying the bull market is over. I'm just saying for now, okay, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for a deeper correction to the downside, especially if you're going to come and fill this inefficiency over here. You do not have to fill the entire inefficiency, but it's at least expected from the rules of the strategy that you fill 50% of the inefficiency, which is here by the 0.618. So you can tap the 0.618, okay, and then find strength back to the upside. It does not play often. Most often, it fills the entire inefficiency over here. Okay, so this is the bearish case scenario that I just wanted to discuss with everyone, to say that only looking at this structure, okay, What is the most bearish case scenario that I see? And the most bearish case scenario that I see over here is a 786 bounce. That is the most bearish case scenario. $69,000, 428. Because I do believe, okay, from a technical perspective, looking at this entire consolidation that we formed here from the end of Feb up until before we had the breakout 21 October, this consolidation area is going to provide immense support for the price of Bitcoin. I think there's going to have to be a lot of selling pressure for Bitcoin to lose this consolidation area. Okay, and you can see that it aligns. I just want to make sure that I'm on the right scale over here. Okay, yes, it does. Oh, what I wanted to say is also, sorry, legends, the small mistake that I'm making over here is if you lose the range low, you need to move your FIB to this low over here. Okay, just delete that. Okay, if you lose this range low, we have to move our FIB to this pivot, because then the impulse is done. The impulse is done. If you lose this level, the impulse is done. Can like to be finished, okay? Then the 0.618 over here actually is, you know, nicely in confluence with the inefficiency that you're going to fill over here, is on top of these highs. And I just know it from technical experience that these highs are going to provide immense support for the price of Bitcoin. So the worst case scenario is 786. Well, let's say medium case scenario, 0.618. Worst case scenario is the 786 at $61,000. I just want to see the point of control is most likely in alignment here, somewhere in the middle. Okay, let's go and check that out. So this consolidation area before we had the breakout, it's close enough, close enough. Okay. Close enough to the 786. So this is where the most amount of volume was traded, a multi-month consolidation. So if for whatever reason we do lose the 0.618, I'm looking at the 786, and you have that massive volume spike there in the middle where the most amount of volume was traded for months and months and months, that can provide support. And then guess what? And this is why I put in the thumbnail, the bull market might be over for now if the top is in over here, but I still expect it to continue. And this time might be different, because I can tell you guys now, if price finds its way here to the downside, okay, we're most likely going to overshoot the target of ending the bull market by Q4 of this year, because now this thing needs to build an impulse back to the upside, and that's going to take us into the territory of potentially 2026, even Q1 of 2026, right? So, and this is why for now that this scenario still carries lower probability, because timing is against Bitcoin at the moment. If Bitcoin still, so let's just play this out. If Bitcoin is going to end the bull market by Q4 of this year, based on previous technical analysis and data that states that that's more or less the time frame that we're looking at, this little corrective structure is going to take up a lot of time, and it can take us even into March and May of this year. Okay. Sorry, March, April. That's how long this corrective structure can last. Then you still have to build this impulse back to the upside. So from a timing perspective, it does not look great, but I mean, it depends on how fast we fall and how fast we climb. It could potentially, you know, give us some magic still to the up and to the downside. So it's not an invalidation. For me, it is just a game of probabilities. Right. Cool. So legends, that is the worst case scenario that I see here at the moment. At the moment, there is a much worse case scenario where you basically tap the 0.88, you lose the range, and we go into a bear market, right? As soon as you tap the 0.88 over here at $56,000, you increase the probabilities that the bull market as a whole is done, is finished. Right. Smash up the like for the education over here, legends. Remember the exchanges that I use. I have just entered a trade on Bybit. I couldn't open my week's account quick enough for the little scalp trade that we find ourselves here to the upside. Links down in the description. Okay, you go down in the description, you click on more. I will zoom in so you can all see here. I've got Weeks, my favorite exchange at the moment, and I've got Bluffin, and all you need is an email and a password to come trade. And I am still in my swing positions. I have not been stopped out of any of them. In fact, I added a little bit more to my Rune trade this morning, or a couple of hours ago when we had the drop here to the downside. I added a little bit more to my Rune trade swing position that I opened up yesterday on Bluffin. So, right, you have to buy when it's really, really, really uncomfortable to buy. And I can tell you, no one wants to buy at the moment. That's usually where I buy a little bit. Okay. You know, call me crazy. Dewald opening up a swing trade with this dump here to the downside. He must be smoking his socks, right? So, yes, I did smoke my socks. Alex, I genuinely wonder what is Dewald's IQ. Dewald is a low market cap undiscovered gem. Oh, you guys are so flattering. Thanks for the compliments. Like yesterday with Rune, deep analysis on one altcoin, please. Like yesterday with Rune. Yes, I got a lot of messages from people saying yesterday that they really, really, really enjoyed the technical analysis that I did on Rune yesterday when I took a deep dive. Okay. Rune inflated more tokens in market, still all-time high target. Yes, well, you know, I look at technical analysis. I am not too concerned about fundamentals as a technical trader. I do research on the fundamentals from a long-term perspective. So how can I say it? My retirement bag, my long-term bag where I don't take profits, I just keep on DCAing. I consistently check the fundamentals, make sure that the projects are healthy, especially where I have altcoins involved. Mostly that portfolio is made up of Bitcoin and some high cap altcoins. But from a swing perspective, right, for me, technicals is what I trade with. If the technicals looks great, then I trade the technicals in front of me. Okay, so yes, the fundamentals might give bad news in fundamentals could potentially give you a great buying opportunity if the technicals look great. Okay. All tokens are inflated, not just Rune. Yes, smoking socks can't be nice. Right, legends. So, for the bull run to stay intact, and let's just even throw timing out the window. For the bull run to stay intact, you do not want to lose the 786. This has to be the maximum target for the bull run to stay intact. Okay, and I know this is a scary target already. $61,000 is a very scary target for most traders. But if you look at the macro and you go onto the daily time frame, I mean, from a technical perspective, you are still making, even if price comes down here. Okay, you have to consider price comes down here to the 786. Guess what? You are still making higher highs and higher lows. Bull market is still intact and you can build a crazy impulse here back to the upside. Okay, where it's just continuing. So, legends, I wanted to discuss this bearish case scenario with everyone just to make sure that we are prepared and that we don't crap ourselves when it does fall here to the downside. At least we knew about the scenario and the potential of this fifth wave being completed over here. I do want to stress that I do particularly not like, okay, the length of this fourth wave over here. Okay, so from an Elliot wave perspective, there's already a couple of issues. The fourth wave over here, 3, 4, 5 is very short compared to the second wave over here. Okay, so that counts against the probabilities for the fifth wave to be finished. Okay, so for me, this scenario, if I switch this off and I switch back on, this scenario over here still carries higher probability until invalidated. Okay, I know it looks absolutely messy over here. I just want to see why I have so many Fib levels. Right, this Fib needs to go below this low. Okay, I just want to switch this off so I make sure that I have the Fib at the right low. Okay, so this probability still carries a higher chance of playing out than the bearish case scenario, where we're still looking for that fourth wave to finish and for a final push here to the upside. And when I say final, okay, there is still a probability of making another 4 or 5 to the upside, but let's just be conservative. I'm still looking for the all-time highs to be claimed before we just go back down to that $60,000 area that I've just highlighted. Okay. And there's still a lot that needs to happen over here. Okay. So if we look at the scenario in detail, okay, or purely from a Fibonacci perspective, okay, if I just do this and keep things simple over here, what we still have not done, taking a Fib from this low to the high, okay, looking at this impulse here to the upside, we have not tapped the 0.382 just as yet. And usually, if you go and backtest Fibonacci retracements, you will quickly realize what I mean. When you have a nice impulse to the upside and you come back and you tap the 382 specifically for the first time, you usually get a nice bounce to the upside. It's either a bounce that claims the high, or it's a nice bounce to the upside that then rolls over and goes to the next Fib level. But this is the line in the sand. The 50% Fib level needs to hold. I do think that there's a high chance that we will find support here and potentially get momentum back to the upside to go and complete the 5th wave. But we also need to be aware of $85,000, okay, the range low that we should not lose over here. And that's also in alignment with, if this is a 1, 2, okay, if this is the 2nd wave over here and we're waiting for the 4th wave, has a maximum target of the 50% Fib level. So even if you tap the 0.618, you invalidate the 4th wave, and we're most likely going to play out the bearish structure that I've just shown you, because then you're also losing the range low. Right, legends, smash up the like. Okay, I'd love to see some more love. 217 people watching the live stream, only 89 likes. I know we can do better than that, right? No, we can do better than that. Cool, legends. I just want to see here on the smaller time frame what can to be cooking over here. Nice pump here to the upside. We literally, it looks like we're SFPing here at the moment from the highs. That was also definitely a profit taking area. That is, if I'm not mistaken, is that by the, let me see. No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We're not by this high yet. I almost thought we hit the 1.236 over there, right? Because that is definitely a profit taking area for me. Okay, so you can see like perfection. Where do you get the reaction? 1-to-1 extension. You guys can see how powerful these Fib levels is. You tap this Fib level, beautiful reaction, 1-to-1 extension, which is, by the way, a C wave target. But I would like to see a little bit more upwards momentum to come and claim this high at least. Okay, because we claimed the low, you basically swept the liquidity. Okay, in a flat, I would like to see us sweep this liquidity. And then I'm going to say, okay, so basically I'm saying what I'm trying to highlight over here is I think the 1.618 has a higher chance of being hit. The 1.236 and the 1.618 has a higher chance of being hit than just turning around over here and rolling back down. Okay, but I mean, I already took 50% of my profits. My position is already protected. So if price surprises us and it stops me out, you know, this is what we do as traders. I do have profits in the bag. But this is where I plan to close my position, and I will definitely take a little bit, maybe 20% more profits here by the 1.236. Right. What else? What else? Legends, scenarios basically still stays the same. So if I'm counting the structure here to the downside, okay, this is how I'm seeing the structure. I know that there's so many people counting the structure in so many different ways. Okay, but you know, for me, this is a 1, 2, 3. Sorry, let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 3, 4, 5. Sorry, that took a while. Okay, and I see this as an A, B, C now forming here to the upside. Okay, you can go and micro count the structures inside of here, because I also see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C flat. Okay, and then you continue the last impulse here to the downside. Right, so this could be the ABC. And now the question is, after the C wave is complete, are we going to build another 5-wave structure to the downside? That is the question, because we could also build a 3-wave structure here to the downside. But to the downside, I just want to highlight, I do still think, even with a bounce here to the upside, even with a bounce that's going to make people very bullish, I know it, I think the best longing opportunity is still here by the 0.382. Okay. I want to see what's going to happen here at the 0.382. And if I'm not mistaken, I also think that we have a daily level over there. Right, we actually smashed that daily, so let me take that out. So we have a daily level. We have the 382. It has not been tapped. You're going to claim the liquidity below that low. And I mean, from a liquidity perspective, let's go check it out. Let me take my head here out the way so everyone can see properly. Okay. Refresh this. Yeah, I mean, you see, thereby 95,800, 95, let's call it $96,000 is a lot of liquidity. So $96,000, just want to go back here onto the lower time frame. $96,000 is by that 1.618 that I've just highlighted. Okay, there's where all, you know, that's where the liquidity is. That's where the liquidity is. So I wouldn't be surprised for the C wave to come up all the way to here. It has a chance. It definitely has a chance. Right, but I wanted to go here on two. Let's go to the 2 week. I'm not sure how far back I need to go to see the liquidity below that wick. 1 month. Right, there's that wick. I think that's the wick to the downside, if I'm not mistaken. But you can see basically at $91,000. At $91,000. $91,000 is where all that liquidity is lying. From $91,000 all the way to $89,000. That is where the liquidity is lying. So it would make sense, okay, to grab that 91,000 and come back up. Okay, so this for me is a very, 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 very interesting zone over here. The other thing I wanted to discuss, legends, is that, okay, and I mean, I could be completely wrong, but the one thing that worries me about the altcoins, okay, is, let me take that out the way, that really concerns me is if people are calling for the top and we are going to make a much deeper correction to the downside. If we are going to do this to the downside, oof, let me just put my face back here so you can see my expression and my depression on my face. It's going to invalidate a lot of bullish structures from an Elliott wave perspective on many altcoins, even some of the strong looking ones. Okay, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath if Bitcoin comes down here. Because when you start looking at tokens like Rune, which I analyzed yesterday, a deep dive on Rune, which is currently inside of the load up zone. And this is why I bought a little bit today, because it tapped the 0.786. I told you guys that's the target that I'm looking for. For me personally, a great zone to buy. But you can imagine that if Bitcoin had to continue the dump to the downside, it's going to invalidate a lot of these structures. And then the bearish case scenarios are going to start playing out. Okay, so if I look at Rune here on the daily time frame, which I analyzed yesterday, and for now, the bullish case scenario still carries higher probability until invalidated. But if Bitcoin is going to crash as such, okay, we then write off this scenario, and we are now looking at this scenario over here. And this is the same for many altcoins, okay, because it needs to hold. Most of the altcoins needs to hold this low for a bullish structure to continue to the upside. Okay, you could still get that B flat that claims the low that we spoke about yesterday, and you can still benefit from a C wave here to the upside, but we're not going to get that face melting price action that we are expecting. because you need this wave to give it the momentum that it needs to go to higher level. As soon as you invalidate this wave by taking the low, it has to build this wave from scratch again. Okay, and then time becomes an issue, because potentially it's not going to have time to build that structure again, to come back down again, form a higher low, and then, because that structure gives it the third wave. So if you invalidate this structure, there's potentially no more third wave. It's a C wave to the upside, and you're going down with impulses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it makes me believe that based on Rune, based on Flux, based on Render, based on ICP, based on Rose, based on many good layer, good fundamental altcoins that I'm keeping my eye on, is that if Bitcoin is going to do this, it doesn't make sense for all of these altcoins to invalidate their bullish structures, okay? What makes more sense is to potentially still come and make one more low, okay? It keeps the structures for the altcoins intact, right? They don't lose those critical lows, and we start recovering back to the upside, because it kind of feels like, how on earth are we going to get an altcoin party when, this face melting price action that we see from altcoin season? We haven't seen a proper altcoin season this cycle. We've had random pumps, mostly from meme coins, but it hasn't been that face melting like it's been in the previous cycle. Okay, and I can't help but wonder if Bitcoin is just going to fall down here and it invalidates all the bullish structures for most of the altcoins. We're not going to have an altcoin season anymore. Okay, so perhaps the answer is then that we're going to have a completely different bull market that no one is expecting. Maybe it's going to last a lot longer. Okay, maybe history is changing. It's not a 4-year cycle anymore. Maybe it's now going to change into a 6-year cycle. I don't know, right? Maybe the bull markets are going to last 4 years and the bear markets are going to last 6 months. But it just, it's something to think about, is that this area to me still makes much more sense to keep the bullish structures for most of the strong fundamental altcoins intact. So just something to think about from a psychological perspective. Okay, so although this could still be bullish for Bitcoin, even $69,000 over here could still be bullish for Bitcoin, it's going to ruin the altcoins. It's going to absolutely destroy them. So you could, yes, you're still going to make money. You're still going to get the 100% pump, the 1x, maybe the 2x. You're going to get the 0.5x, but you're not going to get that 10x. You're not going to get the 5x. You're not going to get the 20x. You will still get that from the stupid meme coins and the new projects that gets launched and where they scam people. You're still going to get it from those people. Okay. Tokens 200. So according to my calculation, Rune inflation 25 cents stop from previous cycle. Okay, we are definitely going to have our altcoin party just a few weeks later, stronger and possibly a bit longer. Right, and this is what I think as well, is that it's not I need to, but I think from a, not because I have spot bags, not because I have an altcoin portfolio, it's just from a structural perspective. When I look at all the strong altcoins over here, it doesn't make sense for them to lose this low only to have to build the structure again. Because remember, if you have a 1, 2, and you are now building a third wave here to the upside, okay, right? I see someone is really aggressive with the shock face over here. So I kind of thought that I may be doing something wrong. Is there high impact news? I'm not sure if there's high impact news or something. I don't think there's any high impact news today. It's tomorrow, right? It's tomorrow, isn't it? Right. So from a structural perspective, it makes sense for me for Bitcoin to find strength in this zone. It makes sense for me to find strength and have at least one more push to the upside. At least one more push. to keep the altcoin structures intact. Because what I wanted to say over here is if you lose this low, okay, look how long it took for the structure to form. So this structure on the daily time frame took, okay, and it's still busy, already 159 days to form. 159 days. Okay, now because you have a potential for a 1, 2, 3 year to the upside. Remember, this is now your first wave inside of your third wave. So let me just switch off the bearish case scenario and show you guys what I mean by the bullish case scenario. You now need to build a 1, 2, okay, inside of the third wave, because each wave has 5 waves inside of it. So you now need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you invalidate this 1, 2, it needs to do it again. That's the problem. Okay, you might not lose this low, which keeps this structure intact, but if you claim that low over there, you have to rebuild the structure over here in another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you know, then you are in April 2026, May 2026 already. Okay, so timing is, if I look at the timing over here, okay, if I look at the timing based on the 4-year cycles, let me go to the weekly. So now the question is, every single cycle played out to perfection since the initiation of Bitcoin. Every single cycle has played out to perfection. The bull markets lasted the same amount of time. The bear markets lasted the same amount of time. And every single time, people thought it was going to be different. And it wasn't. Yeah, people thought it was going to be different. And it wasn't. The bull market ended exactly where it was supposed to end. Exactly where it was supposed to end. So is this time going to be different? So what I'm trying to get to is, if you invalidate the structure from many of our favorite altcoins, I'm not sure how we're going to have an alt season, okay, that finishes over here. So just something to think about, right? So it would be interesting to see how the cycle is going to play out. Maybe we're going to look back at this thing on 25 October when the cycle is supposed to come to an end. We're going to say that, well, we actually did have the alt season. It happened, you know, it tricked us. It gave us some emotional roller coasters. We thought we were going to lose this low here on Rune. We didn't lose the low, you know, and even worst case scenario, if I zoom in here onto the log scale, just to show you guys what I mean, okay? Because on regular scale, okay, this is now where things become scary. When I look at this structure here on the regular scale, okay, when I look at this structure, okay, you ideally want to find support by the 786 as a maximum target for a 1, 2. This is where you want to find support. It's regarded as a maximum second wave target to get momentum back to the upside. When you tap the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of coming to take the low. But I have seen on some altcoins, they have tapped the 0.88 and they even went down to this area, but they did not take this low, which still, okay, can give you a third wave to the upside, because the rule of Elliot wave theory states that the second wave is not allowed to take the low, and it's allowed to even retrace up to 99% of this move to the upside. From a probability perspective, like 9 out of 10 times, it's a high probability the second wave doesn't go lower than the 786. But the hardcore rule is that it can even turn around over here. So I've actually made this box a little bit bigger here on Rune, and you might ask yourself why. Okay, because when you go onto the log scale, this is where things become a little bit more interesting. Let me take the scribble out. Okay, we have not even tapped the 786. So on the logarithmic scale, we still have breathing room here on Rune. We still have some breathing room before we tap that 0.88. So I am still bullish. I bought a little bit, or added a little bit more to my Bluffin Rune spot bags. Remember, links down in the description. We only need an email and password to sign up if you want to come and trade with me. So for now, I need to give the structure the benefit of the doubt. I just have to give the structure the benefit of the doubt until invalidated. Right, legends, let me go through some comments. I feel like I've been just talking and talking and talking and talking. So let me go through some comments and hear your views. Crypto Ricky, you are writing essays over here. You are definitely going to have our altcoin party just a few weeks later, stronger. Okay, I've gone through that. Yes, I agree. Like M on YouTube, Rune tokens 200 mil. Tokens 200 mil according to my calculations. Rune inflation 25% since it stopped from previous cycle. Right, it would be interesting to do those calculations on all the layer ones. Okay, AVAX, DOT, Render, Rune. You know, it would be interesting to do those calculations on all of them. Right, Satoshi, what's the news? Tell us. Oops, somebody get rid of the news. Smash the like button. Yes, smash up the like for the education over here. BTC dominance will either collapse or pump insane. Yes, and I mean, Bitcoin dominance is still something else to contend with, you know, and who knows that if we look at Bitcoin dominance over here, it might come to the rescue for the altcoins, because I have seen, and I'm not going to go look for that example. During the previous cycle, I did see that Bitcoin went through a phase where Bitcoin took a hard dump to the downside, and ETH did the opposite. ETH did that because dominance did this. Okay, so I have seen in the past that even when Bitcoin took a dump to the downside, ETH did the exact opposite. Because dominance, the money basically flowed out of Bitcoin into ETH and some of the ecosystem around ETH. It was specifically ETH and the ecosystem around the ETH layer tokens, right? And so there is that possibility that, Bitcoin takes maybe that massive dump here to the downside, and dominance protects the alts. It just collapses, right? The money flows into the alt ecosystem, but I'm not banking on that. All I'm saying is I know from experience, and I think you guys know that as well, when Bitcoin takes a fart to the downside, altcoins bleed, right? They really, really bleed hard. There is an example where I know that Bitcoin took a dump and ETH did the exact opposite. And what I'll do is I will go look for that example and I'll share it in the next live stream. It was quite a historic moment. I remember it was all over Twitter and everyone was talking about it. How on earth is Bitcoin falling to the downside and ETH is doing the exact opposite? Okay, and then people started talking about the dominance. I can't remember whether it was this leg or this leg or this leg. I will have to go and do a little bit of research and share that example with you guys. But it does happen. It does happen. Okay. Right, legends. That's basically what I wanted to share here on the technical analysis of Bitcoin. You giving me hope as I was almost to close all to the point. Well, that's to the point, right? BTC dominance. Yes, I have just looked at BTC dominance. I mean, for now, it's still climbing here to the upside, but it still looks bearish. For now, we need to give alt season the benefit of the doubt. We have lost the bearish the bearish pennant. We have lost it. We tried to reclaim it. We failed. We left a wick behind on the weekly and the daily time frame. It's quite a bearish sign, which is good for altcoins. Okay, this little wick was a really great wick to leave behind. You tried to get acceptance back inside this pennant and you failed. And now it's just grinding here. So now I'm just tracking this momentum. Okay, so if I go here onto the daily, just to show everyone, right, I don't want us to break this trend. I want us to potentially come up here and reject. I want us to reject. Okay, and that could give us a nice little bit love back into the altcoins, right? We have lost it. We have lost the pennant. It would be nice. I mean, even if I just extend this line over here, worst case scenario is maybe it breaks out and it rejects again back to the downside. So we need dominance to start falling, but it is showing signs of weakness at the moment. It tried to break back in, it failed. Okay. Yes, this looks bullish. It looks like we have a high, a higher low, but we are losing. Okay. We also have a lower high. We also have a lower low. So, let's see what's going to happen over here. We need dominance to collapse. Unfortunately, dominance is a very difficult chart to analyze, especially on the smaller time frames, because it is a tracker. There's no money behind it. Okay, it tracks percentage, it tracks the dominance, it tracks the flow from Bitcoin into the alt ecosystem. So it's a very tricky chart to analyze, especially on the smaller time frames, because there's no money behind it. Okay, so you can do basic technical analysis on the larger time frames, but even Elliott wave theory is very difficult on dominance, USDT dominance, you know, all the tracking pairs, total total market cap, and those type of things that you can't trade. It's just tracking indicators. Okay, I bought some Rune to the point. Yes, well, you know, I'm just sharing with you guys what I do. I also bought Rune, a little bit of Rune yesterday. I bought some Rune. I can't remember where price was yesterday. I bought some Rune, I think over there, and I bought a little bit more today. I have a clear invalidation below the lows. For me, this is a low leverage 2x position, and I'm just slowly, very calmly nibbling here at the lows. Okay, I do expect that, you know, what I would like to see here from Rune is to find a bottom. It's just to find the bottom, slow down, and start consolidating. I wanted to start consolidating, okay? And I wanted to go sideways. I wanted to start taking up some time without, you know, to find the floor over here and not go down lower. Even if it taps the 0.786 at $3.2, it's fine. But from a timing perspective, we could be expecting the pump from Rune if the scenario is going to play out at... Let me just snap that on properly. Right after the 382, 25 Jan. And if I use the example that I used yesterday on Brett, okay, we're looking at 11 Feb. So I want Rune to find the bottom over here, chop sideways. I wanted to start chopping sideways. And then in this zone, in this little zone over here, between 25 Jan and 11 February, this is where I expect magic. Hopefully, okay, if we don't take the low before then, right? But this is where I expect magic. So I think we're going to have to be a little bit more patient. So I started nibbling over here, and maybe I will add, when I see the consolidation and the selling pressure getting exhausted, I will be more aggressive with loading up. But for now, I'm just nibbling small amounts, because I know that I still have time to do this. I still have a little bit of time. And then maybe... we're going to get that explosion to the upside. But I don't really want to see us lose $3.2. I don't want to see us lose this zone over here. And that, you know, that little pivot, very important pivot, because I know that a lot of people have stop losses down there. So maybe it comes and it sweeps, okay, that 786. It stops all of these traders out. And then it rock and rolls back to the upside. Right. I just have flies everywhere here in my studio today. I'm not sure what it is. We did have some seafood, and I'm not sure if it's because of the seafood that I have a fly fiesta. I'm not sure if you guys can see them flying around over here in my studio, but it's absolutely irritating. Right. Let's go through some more comments. Smash up the like. CVDs looks great. Let's go and have a look at CVD. Okay. Yeah. Well, we do have, well, we now need to look for fresh CVDs, okay, because we took the low over there. But I mean, on the larger time frames, if we go onto the 4-hour time frame, I have seen this dance before, and I've seen this movie before, okay? I've seen this movie, Legends. I just, you know, we're looking for some bullish signs from a technical perspective without it, you know, getting emotional and putting our emotions involved. But when price grinds to the upside, okay, and it's chopping like this, and CVD is absolutely just tanking here to the downside. What does this show you? Okay, when CVD goes down and price grinds to the upside, it tells you that smart money, whales, market makers, people that trade with hundreds and millions of dollars, even billions of dollars, are absorbing shorts. They are buying the dips. This is showing you that they are still buying at these levels. And I can just imagine that if Bitcoin had to dump a little bit more, how more aggressive the whales are going to start buying over here, which tells me, looking at CVD, okay, which tells you what smart money is doing, they are still buying aggressively. while price is, you know, doing nothing and just consolidating here to the upside, which tells me that a dip is made still for buying. They're going to buy this up so aggressively, it's going to leave traders behind, forcing them to buy in at higher levels. So we still have a chance, and there's our range low. Okay, there's our range low that we should not lose at the moment. But CVD is still telling a story over here, and I have seen this movie before. Okay, if I go on to, I'm not sure how far back CVD can go. I just want to see if it loads up, if it will allow me to do it. But if I go back, oh, I remember some of these structures like it was yesterday. Like this one over here. Okay, if I zoom into this structure, I remember also we were chopping, and when we reached this pivot, I remember it like it was yesterday, the ETF news. Do you guys remember? Okay, it just looked like a finished structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the upside, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the end. We're going back down for a larger ABC correction. Okay, but look at CVD. CVD fell down. Okay, just buying up every single dip, and you claimed the lows. Look at that. You claimed the lows over there, and then whoop, we went back to the upside. Very interesting to note. Okay, do you see what happened over here? Claimed the low and went back up. CVD went down, and then inside of this consolidation area, I mean, what can I say? Right, the rest is history. Look at this consolidation area, how CVD just fell to the downside, which shows you smart money was still heavily accumulating over here. And then who won the battle? Smart money. You took the high and went to higher levels. And now when I look at, just want to get this out the way, this little consolidation, okay, yes, I mean, what can I say? What can I say? CVD falling down, right? Which tells me whales are still buying. So maybe as per that other scenario, it looks very similar to that ETF scenario over there, right? Where you have the peak, everyone thinks it's the top. You get that last dip down where you grab the liquidity. It gets bought up extremely aggressively and you continue. So, right, legends, but and this scenario still has the higher probability from an Elliot wave perspective. But I just, you know, we did discuss the bearish case scenario if we lose the range low over here. So, you know, at least we are prepared as legends here in the community. What is Bitcoin doing here on the smaller time frame? Is it still holding that trend? Yes, it's still holding the trend, right? Retest, beautiful retest. It's holding the trend. It's not getting acceptance back inside the trend just as yet. Even from a CVD perspective, if I now go on to the 3-minute, I want to see signs of strength. Ooh, I actually see some bearish CVD against this pivot. There's some bearish CVD, higher high on lower low. Okay, if it takes the high, it will invalidate that CVD, but it's only one confirmation. So let's see how the structure is going to play out. Bought some Rune on spot. Mr. No financial advice. Yes, of course. I'm only sharing. Remember, guys, I'm only sharing with you what I am doing. Okay, please, this is no financial advice. I have a clear invalidation. I will take the knock on the chin if I get stopped out. Okay, this is where I load up, expecting that $20 Rune potentially still in this cycle. Bitcoin needs to obviously play ball, and I can tell you guys now that if Bitcoin does take that massive dump to the downside, high chance of myself being stopped out. But I mean, trading is a game of chance and it's a game of probabilities, and for now the probabilities are still higher that we are going to continue momentum to the upside. We are inside of bull market territory. We are not at the end yet. Okay, based on technical analysis, we are not at the end just as yet. Okay, we're not at the end. We still have some time. We're only here. We still need, there's still some time for the bull market. And so based on technical analysis, the probabilities for me are higher to still enter a long position. And when we go into bear market territory, I'm going to tell everyone I'm looking for shorts. Okay, I'm looking for shorts, baby. We're going to short this. We're going to short Bitcoin here like a mother trucker to the downside. Okay, but we're not yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. Right. What else? Dewald, after 96K, BTC will possibly go to 97 or lower back to 90s. So, I mean, from a conservative and from a realistic perspective, let me rather call it that, is when I take a fib, Ayush, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and I look at this structure as an A, B, and this is now a C forming here to the upside. I can take a trend-based fib and measure from A to B, drag it across, okay? And if this is indeed a C wave here to the upside, it usually has a maximum target of the 1.618, okay? I have seen C waves go to the 2.618, but very, very, very seldom. Maybe once every 3-4 months, I see that happen. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen. It doesn't invalidate a C wave. But realistically, 8-9 out of 10 times, it stops by the 1.618. This 1.236 is also a very common C wave target. So after 96K, okay, what are you asking? Is will possibly go to 97? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because it could, okay? There is a possibility that this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a chance it can do that. Where this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, confusing myself over here, but there's basically 5 waves inside of your third wave, and this is 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, which means the fifth wave is not done. Okay, the structure is not done just as yet. So there is still a chance after you claim the 1.618, because usually after a flat structure to the downside, when you have a flat, ABC flat, you still increase the probabilities of taking the low. So from a probability perspective, I would rather say after 96K, $90,000 will be hit first, until proven otherwise. If we start breaking the 1.618 and every retracement is just bullish, and we you know, that local 3-minute, 5-minute CVD bullish signs, and we make a retracement and there's massive bullish CVD against those pivots, I'm going to say, okay, cool, now we need to change our technical analysis. We might be getting ready for a 1, 2, 3 year to the upside. But for now, based on the data that we have today, I would say after 96, it is $90,000 until proven otherwise. And as more data becomes available, you know, so we will change our analysis. But it also has to be said, if this is an A, B, C here to the upside, it has hit a C wave target already, which is the 1-to-1 extension. It would be strange for the C wave not to take the high because you have a B flat. And usually 8 out of 10 times when you have a B that takes the low, the C also takes the high. But it can happen that it turns around over here and it doesn't do it, and it goes and claims the low. Okay, because the market is here to surprise us, and nothing is ever perfect. Okay, right, Lay, are you insanely? Harold Rocco, you are insanely. Right, Lay, Mr. Like M on YouTube. I think you've asked for Lay inside of our Legends Pro community, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you can see it here on top. Now, I've got it. I've got Lay over here. Ooh, I didn't have a lot of time to do more. I know you guys really enjoyed the deep dive technical analysis on Rune that I did yesterday. So please, after the live stream, go and post a comment inside of the comment section, and then I will go and pick an altcoin from all the comments that I see most people want to look at, and I will do a deep dive on that altcoin, okay, like I've done with Rune. Maybe I'll even pick 2, okay, or 3, depending on how much time I have in tomorrow's live stream, to go and do a deep dive analysis like I've done on Rune, showing you the bullish and bearish case scenarios. Here on Lay, basically, to keep the technical analysis simple over here, is you don't want to lose the low. right? Whatever structure this is, you don't want to lose the low. And this is potentially, okay, in this zone is potentially still a great load up zone. Okay. And I mean, we did tap the 0.88. I just want to see on lock, did we tap the 0.88? No. So on the lock scale, Layer AI still looks bullish. We tapped the 786. Okay, so if this structure has any chance of getting an upwards momentum, you don't really want to lose the 786 over here. Okay, especially not the low. So for now, it still looks great. It still looks intact. Let me rather use those words. The bullish structure is still intact for now. I just want to see here on the smaller time frame. I'm very interested just to quickly look at this structure over here. Ooh, this looks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It does look like a expanding contraption that's going on over here. It does look a little bit expanding in a 5-wave structure. This does look like an ABC correction to the downside. Okay, yeah, on the 1 hour time frame. So it does look like there is a potential for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you took the high, which is fine. Wave 3 is not the shortest. Ooh, I just need to go. Okay, it doesn't have to be the yeah. Okay, right. But I mean, I'm not going to go. I'm going to spend too much time because I'm already. I want to claw into this and do some proper technical analysis, but it's just going to take too long. So what I'm still interested in is to say from this low to the high. Okay, this low. Okay, this low was made before the minimum target. So I would expect it to still range over here, and in this zone, right, you want to break the trend and you want to find some upwards momentum. I just want to go back to the regular and see where that trend is. Take the scribble out the way. So for now, I think it has a chance. I think Layer AI has a chance. Okay, it potentially looks like it has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks corrective. It's tapped the 786, which is fine. And this low, the only concerning thing that I see over here is that this low was made before the minimum time Fibonacci. So it would be nice if it still consolidates and it wakes one more low, okay? One more low inside of this zone. And then break the trend and then off we go. So for now, it still looks good. But I can just imagine, right? If like I've discussed on the bearish case scenarios, most of the altcoins, they are at the brink of losing their bullish structures. I mean, look at how close this low is to where price is at the moment. If Bitcoin is going to take a massive dump here to $60,000 or to $70,000 to the downside, everyone calling for the bear market, right? It's not going to survive that dump. It's really not going to survive, which tells me that Bitcoin needs to show some magic very soon and dominance needs to start dropping, okay, for this scenario to remain bullish to the upside, because there's your invalidation. So if I was inside of a swing trade potentially over here, I do have a spot bag of Layer AI. So I don't really care. I will just add more when we take dumps. But I got stopped out of my swing trade. Okay, this little nasty week over here actually stopped me out of my swing trade in Layer AI. But if I had to take a trade over here, this is where you load up. You don't want it. It can't go much lower than this. If this is a bullish setup, right? This is the zone where you buy. This is where you buy. It's as simple as that. And you have a clear invalidation, not risking more than what you can afford to lose. Because in a bullish setup, so let me just explain something. When you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, this wave is the most difficult to detect. And it usually, after the first wave is done, that's when people start buying the top, because they missed the entire wave. Then when these people, finished buying the top over here, okay, the best place to buy is over there. Wouldn't you agree? That's the best place to buy. And I'm telling you now that this is this. Where's my pen? This is this area over here. I need to learn to clean up the charts while I chart. Okay, so let me take the time fib out just to clean it up over here. So if I'm looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there to the upside. Okay, let's just make this a different color and make it white. I call this the primary count. Okay, let's switch on the line. I know that people like to see the line for some reason. I don't need the lines anymore. Okay, if it needs to still do this, like I've just shown you, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Okay, this is the zone, brothers. This is the zone. You can't buy it any lower than this. If you're going to start buying over here, then you start invalidating the structure, because when you take a fib from the low to the high, you tap the 0.88 over here. It could mean that you're invalidating the structure. So everyone wants to buy at the lowest level possible, but you're buying at a very dangerous zone. Okay, this is the zone where you, because you now on that little scribble that I made on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you are now buying there, and you're anticipating this wave. This is the best wave to trade. Okay, if the structure does this and it claims the low, then okay, no trade. Okay, this is why you trade with good risk management. But it should also not go deep too deep, because if it goes too deep and you take a fib from the low to the high and it starts tapping the 0.88 over here, you then increase the probabilities that you're going to take the low. Then the structure is not bullish anymore. Okay, best TA content on YouTube. What about ICP? I have done ICP analysis. Let me see if I still have it over here. Right, that's basically what I see on Layer AI, ICP, USDT. Let's see, where is my ICP? There we go. Oof. Let me clean up the brushes over here. And remember, Layer AI and ICP can be traded on Weeks and on Bluffin, where you only need an email and a password to sign up. Right. Awesome technical analysis. Miss Melanie, welcome. All the way from Los Angeles. Okay. Bybit D-line is completely different, which is interesting. No worries, Dewald stops on the low. Haha. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Daniel. Pac-Man. Okay, so just want to catch up over here. Thank you so much for the super chat. So best TA content on YouTube. What about ICP? Let's go and have a look at ICP. Remember, these tokens can be traded on Weeks and on Bluffin, right? Bluffin's got that competition, $200,000 competition running at the moment, and Weeks, lowest trading fees, bigger sign up bonus, and Bluffin, where you only need an email and a password to sign up. So also your way to support the channel, and for me to continue to come here and provide alpha. Right. Very nice structure over here, but what I would prefer is to move the trend. Okay, that looks better. Okay, new trend. I spoke about the scenario. I need to bring up that live stream last week, or last year, November, December. I spoke about the scenario to say that Legends, on most of the altcoins, it has a very aggressive trend to the downside. What I would like to see is for the trend to break. You make a higher high, okay, so that I can move the trend. It makes sense, much better there, and it actually connects those two pivots perfectly over there, because the trend is too steep. Okay, and now it has given us the higher high, and we have now a better 45-degree angle trend. So now this is the breakout you want to play. Okay, this is the best breakout. So, I mean, based on the local structure that I see here on the 1 hour time frame, this little local structure over here, for this structure to remain bullish, you want to find support maximum at the 786. It's as simple as that, right? And we're not even at the 7. I just want to make sure that I am on regular. Yes, I am on regular. I can take this out the way. Okay, maximum support. What I do like over here is that you have made a higher high. You've changed market structure. You've made lower highs. Okay, you've made the low. You've tested this trend to perfection. Got a beautiful bounce here to the upside, higher highs, and this looks to be a little bit corrective, and what you would like to see, maybe sweep up these lows. That would be great to sweep up these lows, because the corrective, if this is, for argument's sake, a 1 2 3 4 5, okay, in an expanding structure over here, the corrective structure usually, you know, it just claims all of that beautiful liquidity, and then you start moving up. But I'm not saying that this is definitely going to happen, because it might just bounce here, and then it breaks out. So from a simplicity perspective, you can wait for the break of the trend. If you don't know what to do over here, you wait for the break of the trend. You wait for some high time frame candles to close above the trend, like what happened with this trend. Okay, as soon as you got high time frame candle closes outside of the trend, you got upwards momentum, and it claimed the high. Now, I do think from a technical perspective that there's a good chance once you break this trend with high time frame candle closes above, that you are going to take this high. Okay, and the maximum bouncing area that you want to see is $9.6. You don't want to lose this zone over here, okay? And you basically, to me, that would be the best buy. If price can still grind here to the downside, claim that liquidity and get acceptance back above. Basically, you know, people ask me, what do you mean by acceptance back above? Is it starts trading above these lows again, starts trading above the lows. That's a very bullish sign. That is usually where I buy. I don't wait for the break of the trend. If I see this, I buy over here. Okay, I don't buy that, because that could just fall to the downside. But as soon as you get acceptance back above, this is where I buy. And then when it breaks out, I already have a much better entry, which I can protect and have a free trade here to the upside. So, I mean, ICP looks great. I just want to have a quick squiz on the larger time frame. Let's go here to the 8 hour. Just look at the structure over here. Right. I mean, it still looks great. It still looks great. It looks like you have a 1 2 3 1 2 5. It can't be a contracting diagonal, but I mean, look at that beautiful retest over there. This could also be a 1 2 1 2. Okay, but it looks bullish, right, legends? That is your low. That's the low that was made over there. You broke out from the triangle and you found support. Now this structure looks like it's building up momentum for next wave to the upside. So let's just focus on that structure as per the analysis that I've done. But it does have the potential, okay, if things get crazy over here. Let's work this out. Okay, if alt season is still going to play out, Bitcoin doesn't take a dump here to the downside, ICP has a chance to hit $35. It has a chance. Has to be said, based on this bullish structure that is formed a higher low, and now it looks like it's building up waves to go into a third wave here to the upside. Right, so that is basically the technical analysis here on ICP. Okay, cool, legends. I see there's a lot of people leaving the live stream for some reason. I'm not sure if they're going to go and watch someone else, or they're making dinner, or they are working, or they just can't attend the live stream anymore. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end it over here and ask everyone to please smash up the like. Thanks for joining the live stream. I appreciate every single one of you being here today. And Rudy, welcome. Masa is closing into the re-entering zone, right? I will go and look at Masa. Maybe we can look at it tomorrow. Rudy, maybe just post a comment after the live stream so that I don't forget. I will definitely remember to take a look at Masa, because I know you highlight some amazing altcoins here inside of the section. Thanks, Dewald. Thanks, everyone. Smash up the like. Hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers for now.